Yesterday, I watched the Color Purple film, and I guess I just want to. It's been on my mind today, so I just want to talk about it. It's kind of a musical, but a half musical. So it's like a film with talking, and most of it is film and talking. But every now and then they break into a song. And I guess the one part I didn't like about it was the religious aspect. They had quite a heavy religious aspect, and they had a very false interpretation of who God was, um, and so on one hand, it's like, yeah, I didn't really like. It's the truth. It's how people think and believe. God is in the trees and God is in the sky. There's a lot of people that believe this, and then when good things happen in their life, they're like, yes, that's proof that God is real, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's just proof that something good has happened in your life. That's not proof that God is real. I mean, in one hand, it was like, yeah, I do think that this is proof because it was a story about a child basically who gets sold to be someone's husband or someone's wife, and she was treated like appallingly. Like in the first few days, the house was an absolute mess, and she was like tidying up all day, and then when the children he got back late and the children wanted a bath, he said bath the children. So she's just been given children that are not hers, and she had two children when in some sort of home or something or care, but it was I think it was the mother that was her birth mother, but her mother married someone, and that guy he married wasn't very nice, and he was when the mother died, he sold the two sisters. Well, I think he sold one of them and kept the younger one. But then she ran away a year later because he tried to sell her to someone else, and so it's a horrible film because I hate the idea of people being sold, the idea of children who don't look old enough to be married to adults, being married to adults and then being forced to be like a cleaner, and the guy slapped her when she refused to bath the children that she'd just been given, forcibly given. He slapped her, and then that night still they had sex or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, it was a horrible, it was kind of like horrible, and it built out like I really wanted to just wanted to get a gun and shoot that guy. And throughout the whole of it, he just seemed like a monster, and this woman seemed very okay with everything, which is weird. Why would you be okay with this situation? And it turned out that actually the shop that her stepfather had actually belonged to her, and the deeds were in her name. So when her mother died, they should have been passed down to the two sisters, but he hid the deeds because he wanted the shop to be his, and claimed that it was his. And then, like 30 years later, when the woman was older, it might not have been 30, it might have been like 15 years later, um, she found out that actually, the life that she was given shouldn't have been the life that she had. And, I feel like this story is something that is similar to me. It doesn't prove that God is existing, but because I am God, I am Christ, I am talking to songs through time, strangely enough. And I've gone through a sort of, I can relate to this story of being in a relationship that I don't want to be in, um, and stuff. But yeah, it throughout the film they were saying how, you being alive proves that God is existing, and it's just like, yeah, it doesn't, you being alive doesn't prove that God is real, but you having a life that's similar to that of God's, and but yeah, oh, it was awful as well. The woman who I don't know, some white, it didn't even make sense. Some white woman said, um, "Do you want to be my maid?" And she said, "Hell no." And the woman went over to slap her for speaking badly to a white person, which it's horrible to see, but I guess it would have been the truth. And then to think that, and then the guard came in and slapped. Oh, no, I know yeah, and then the guard came in and then she slapped the guard, and that's how she ended up in prison for months. And then she ended up working for that person because that was the only way to get her out of jail. But I think she was in there for a very long time. I don't know. It's a story that angers me and frustrates me and makes me hate people because it's like, how can you be like this? Um, but then I think there's a lot of truth to it. So, And I watched the Mean Girls one on Monday. I didn't like that at all. I loved the original Mean Girls, and this was kind of just an exact copy of it, only with more average people. Like the people looked more like what you'd expect in a normal high school, whereas the Mean Girls version is more what you'd expect actors to look like. Actors who are models and a bit more attractive. But I like the Regina George character in the new one. Um, but but the rest just seemed very very normal standard people. I don't know. I don't really like musicals, and yeah, this when they start breaking out into songs that you don't really like that much, it's just a bit cheesy, and so but because it was half and half, it wasn't that bad. But I was really tempted to walk out of that one, but I didn't. This one was far more interesting. I preferred it more, but it also brought out a lot of anger in me because it's like, how can people be like this? How can people think this is normal? Um, but yeah, I think that in the past, life was shit and suffering happened just because humans have always been evolving from animals. And when you first become a human, you're not very bright, you're not very smart. You can't pick up on the spirit, you can't pick up on information. So, Christ or God can't help you because you're not very connected and you're not connected to truth. Um, and then as time passes and you have more lives, you do get connected to the truth. The problem is, as time passes, more and more people have been created, and the new people can't connect and can't get, and so then you have the divide between the ones that can connect and the ones that can't connect. And so even though life is better because you have better technologies and stuff, you still life isn't good because the smart ones are living with the dumb ones, and they're getting confused because the dumb ones might actually be older than them. And people are stupid. If people are stupid, they think that the older you are, the more intelligent you are, which is true, but not if reincarnation is the truth. And then the older ones actually get led and misled by the younger ones who are technically older than them because they're at different stages in the life that they are currently living. And yeah, but anyway, it I just wanted to talk about it.